Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a 4,500-year-old architectural puzzle that, honestly, only gets more baffling the more our modern technology advances. We really have to start with a pretty provocative question, one that sits right at the heart of the Great Pyramid of Giza. How on earth did a 4,500-year-old civilization manage to out-engineer our modern machinery? It's a structure so impossibly perfect, it literally continues to humble today's greatest scientific minds, having stood tall through shifting sands, brutal storms, and centuries of changing civilizations. Section 1, an impossible ancient wonder, scaling the enigma. Let's establish the sheer mind-numbing scale of this ancient structure. 5.75 million tons. That is the staggering total weight of the Great Pyramid. And that massive number includes roughly 5.5 million tons of limestone, 8,000 tons of granite, and 500,000 tons of mortar. To put that totally incomprehensible amount of stone into perspective, the Great Pyramid is roughly 11 to 12 times heavier than the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the modern world. Just imagine hauling a dozen modern skyscrapers out into the scorching Egyptian desert. Think about this for a second. We're talking about 2.3 million individual blocks weighing anywhere from 2 to 80 tons each, moved across hundreds of kilometers. And they did all of this without modern cranes, heavy machinery, or 18-wheelers. Plus, back then, it didn't look like the dusty, stepped mountain we see today. Originally covering 13 acres and reaching 482 feet into the sky, its walls were actually encased in polished white limestone and topped with a gleaming gold capstone. It literally shone like a massive diamond in the desert sun. Moving into Section 2, mind-boggling engineering feats, precision beyond belief. Because when you look past just the brute size, we find that the pyramid is packed with sophisticated science that, frankly, simply shouldn't have existed in 2560 BC. Incredibly, the ancient Egyptians engineered a completely natural climate control system. Through an intricate setting of internal stones and air shafts, the inside temperature of the Great Pyramid remains locked at a comfortable 20 degrees Celsius. It completely ignores the blazing desert heat baking the exterior. Modern AC units could definitely learn a thing or two from this. Now, you might think it has 4 flat walls. That's the standard myth most of us grew up with, right? But in reality, they engineered 8 sides with such geometric perfection that each massive wall is actually slightly pressed inward. It's a precision detail that's completely invisible to the naked eye until the specific angle of light hits it during the solar equinox. Absolutely mind-blowing. And the precision doesn't stop at the walls either. Their alignment to true north, south, east, and west is so phenomenally exact that it leaves researchers questioning how they even mapped the Earth's dimensions thousands of years before satellites. They achieved this millimeter precision without magnetic compasses or modern surveying instruments. It demonstrates a grasp of astronomy and geography that is, quite frankly, staggering. Which brings us to Section 3, Tomb, Power Plant, or Aliens, the Purpose Puzzle. If their engineering was this flawless, we have to ask, why build this massive, mathematically perfect structure in the middle of a desert in the first place? The architectural progression of ancient Egyptian tombs is such a fascinating evolution. They believed the west bank of the Nile, where the sun sets, was the realm of the dead. Initially, they built flat rectangular structures called mastabas. Then, around 2600 BC, architect Imhotep stacked these to create King Djoser's step pyramid. Later on, King Sneferu perfected the smooth, angled walls of the true pyramid, which directly paved the way for Pharaoh Khufu to commission the ultimate architectural marvel, the Great Pyramid of Giza. Now, while the mainstream consensus is that it was Khufu's tomb, there is a massive curveball here. After years of hard work, archaeologists finally bypassed the granite blocks to open the sealed chamber inside the Great Pyramid. They were expecting gold, artifacts, a mummified king. Instead, they found a completely empty stone box. No mummy, no treasure, just a 4,500-year-old anticlimax that has fueled wild alternative theories ever since. And because of that empty tomb and the baffling mathematical precision we talked about, researchers and writers over the years have objectively explored some fascinating, wildly differing possibilities. Was it just a royal tomb for Khufu's journey to the afterlife? Or could it have been a giant power plant, using hydrogen and the piezoelectric quartz within the granite to generate electric charges? Some historical writers even suggested it was a grain storehouse for a biblical famine, though the solid stone interior makes that pretty unlikely.
And of course, there are theories of ancient aliens using its true north alignment as an intergalactic navigation marker.
Take that power plant theory, for example, which actually links the quartz-rich granite inside the pyramid to modern science. Nikola Tesla famously believed he could use the Earth's natural electrical properties to transmit power wirelessly. Proponents of the pyramid power plant theory suggest ancient Egyptians understood this very concept. The idea is they used the colossal weight and specific crystalline stones to generate a massive, harmonic energy resonance way, way before we discovered electricity. All right, on to Section 4, the ultimate construction riddle, human ingenuity at work. This brings us to the biggest mystery of all. Not why it was built, but exactly how they pulled it off with ancient technology. To build it, they first needed to quarry materials like granite, which, by the way, is incredibly tough to cut even today. But they didn't need laser cutters. They used brilliant natural mechanics. By taking simple copper tools and wooden wedges, they would insert dry wood into natural holes in the granite, soak it with water, and just let the wood's natural expansion do the rest. That immense pressure cleanly breaks the giant 80-ton stone blocks. So simple, yet so genius. Now, when we compare the leading scientific theories for moving these colossal stones into place, things get really interesting. An external ramp makes logical sense, but would require an impossible amount of mud and bricks. The internal ramp theory offers a winding path inside the structure, which is actually supported by computer models. The hydraulic lift idea is fascinating, sure, but lacks solid proof. However, the wet sand friction theory, that is brilliant in its simplicity. They placed blocks on wooden sleds and simply poured water on the sand in front of it. This trick perfectly halves the friction. And we actually have solid evidence of this method from an ancient wall painting in the tomb of Juti-Hotep. And who was pulling these sleds? Well, forget the Hollywood movies. This wasn't the work of forced labor. Archaeological discoveries have proven this was a monumental, highly respected public works project, executed by 30,000 highly trained, well-fed, and deeply skilled citizens. They lived right on site in permanent housing, and even farmers volunteered during their off-seasons to contribute to what they viewed as a divine endeavor over 20 to 30 years. Let's wrap up with Section 5. Unlocking future secrets, the mystery continues. Because even today, cutting-edge tools are proving that the pyramid is still actively hiding things from us. Every single year, modern robotics and sonar unveil fresh clues. We've found ancient papyrus documents proving limestone was floated down the Nile River. We've sent tiny robot cameras deep into unexplored air shafts and found mysterious red engineer markings that we still can't translate. Modern radar is detecting massive empty voids, literally undiscovered hidden chambers right inside the pyramid. And experts are predicting that by 2025, we might find an entirely new network of underground passages below the Giza limestone plateau. It just proves the Great Pyramid is a very active investigation, not just a dusty relic. As we conclude this explainer, I'll leave you with this to ponder. If our most advanced modern technology is just now catching up to the Great Pyramid, what else did the ancients know? It's a structure that proves the greatest wonder of the ancient world is still, for sure, the ultimate mystery of the modern one. Thanks for exploring this enduring enigma with me today, and always keep questioning the incredible history that surrounds us.